Hey, what's up everybody? Dave here with another new Comic Book Day haul and recommendations video for all of you. And this is a special milestone episode in that it's going to be episode number 50, the big 5-0. Can't believe I've done this many episodes of this series. Thank you to all who have stuck by me. I really do appreciate your incredible support and kindness. Now, before I get into the books, it's time for the customary shout out. And today the shout out's going to be for Prime Comics. Guy's pretty cool and a very good supporter. He's got a cool channel where he does card rips, comic haul videos. He also does some gameplay videos or video games. And he's also got some older videos of himself trying out food from other countries, which I always thought was pretty interesting. One of his main focuses at the moment is collecting the mainline Wolverine comics. And at the time of this recording, he's got 153 subscribers. So please, everybody, let's try and at least get him past 160, at the bare minimum. There will be a link to his channel in the description box below. So if you're not familiar with his channel, please check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. Everyone, so let me show you what I picked up this week. Now, this first book is not a comic book, and it actually came out last week. I picked it up this week, and it's going to be a huge hardcover Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the making of the classic film. And that definitely is true. It is a classic film. It is, in my opinion, the GOAT of Star Trek films. Here's a little look at the back here. And this is from Titan Books. Put this behind me here. Make some room. Alright, now with the comics, I got Darkwing Duck spinoff, Negaduck, issue number 1 from Dynamite Entertainment, and this is going to be the cover A. And I got the cover B. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. I like this one a lot. And then I got the Blanc variant, cover F. And then this one wasn't originally on my pull list, but I read a little bit about it and I ended up picking it up. It's Creepshow, Volume 2, Issue number 1 from Image Comics, and this is the cover A. And my main reasoning for getting this really was because at the end of the book, there's a preview for the new Transformers series that's coming out from Image Comics. And then we got the Exiled, Issue number 6 from Whatnot Publishing, and this is going to be the cover A. And then we've got the cover C, which is a nice little Men in Black 1 movie poster homage cover. And then, of course, my favorite series of the whole year, Something Epic, issue number 5 from Image Comics. And this is the cover A. And then we got the cover B, nice little Hook movie poster homage. And then we got the cover C, a nice little homage to the Korn album, Follow the Leader. And then cover D. And then Dark Ride, issue number 8 from Image Comics, and this is the cover A. And then I picked up the Batman issue number 1, a facsimile edition, and this is the foil cover from DC Comics. And then I also picked up the Blank Sketch variant. Hi everyone, so let me give you my top 3 recommendations from this haul. Got my boy Soundwave here to help me out like always. And first up is one that I really wasn't expecting to actually like. But I did. Creepshow, Volume 2, Issue number 1 from Image Comics. Go inside, check out some of the artwork. Show's pretty crazy. Alright, Soundwave, thank you. Alright, so I originally bought this again just because of the preview of Transformers issue number 1 in the back of the book. I ended up just reading it and I actually liked it. And this had a feel like the Silver Coin series, or even Tales from the Crypt, because it has this guy in the beginning here who's kind of like the Crypt Keeper, giving a little introduction for each of the stories. There's 2 stories in this issue. And the first story is written by Garth-Ennis, and it's dealing with a man who's seeing he's seeing dead fetuses everywhere he goes. It's really freaking weird. Eventually he loses it because it's just overwhelming. He's seeing so many of them everywhere. Nobody else is seeing it, of course. It's just him. And he just loses it. And he admits that he ended up getting his daughter pregnant and made her get an abortion. Even though, according to the way he's portrayed in this book, he's very much against abortion, but he did it to save himself. He also admits to having someone else start a fire that ends up killing a bunch of babies. So pretty messed up. You know, in the end, he ends up paying for his misdeeds. And then we have another story in here that is by Phil Hester. And this one's dealing with a paleontologist who just lost his mother, and he's just kind of having a hard time, you know, getting over it and such. And he's just really kind of seems like kind of a weird guy, but he's going down a bit of a strange path at work with what he's digging up. And he makes some kind of a discovery of an unknown organism that's responsible for the Permian extinction event. Eventually he comes face to face with these zombie-like creatures who eventually end up consuming him in the end. And it's just really strange tales in this issue. I liked it. I'm really liking the horror type comic books that have been coming out. I'm really liking them. And like I said, this felt a little bit like a cross between the Silver Coin and Tales from the Crypt. So I'm looking forward to actually reading the next issue and seeing what stories they come up with next. All right, next up is going to be another horror themed issue, and it's going to be Dark Ride, issue number 8, also from Image Comics. All 3 books are from Image Comics today. I mean, that's pretty cool, crazy cover right there to begin with. Look at this. And we'll jump in. We'll check out some of the artwork here. Some more. Alright. Soundwave. Alright. So, this has been a good series, and I actually got into it late into its run. I think it was issue 6 when it was either 5 or 6 when I actually got into it. But I'm all caught up now, and I've actually really enjoyed it. Again, another horror-themed series, and we got the main character here of Sam, who is about to go see his daughter, who, in the end of the last issue, it seems has come under a kind of a spell. But before he can go leave the park that he's at, he's attacked by a whole bunch of versions of the park's mascot, which is Danny, which is this guy right here. So he gets attacked by a whole bunch of them, and at one point he's overwhelmed by them and has a little bit of a vision of the past, when he was a child and his sister was a child and mother was very sick. And they're trying to like kind of listen in on the conversation that the mother is having with the father in her hospital room, and they can't quite hear it. So he's kind of he's in this vision, and he's able to walk through the door and actually go in there and get an idea of actually what was happening in there. And he discovers that his mother allowed herself to die in order to save the kids from being taken by the devil. I believe it was believed that his father had been responsible for her death, but it was actually the mother who decided that she should die, basically sacrifice herself for her kids. And his father, Arthur, had made a deal with the devil back in the day, and this happens in issue 1, or at least it's implied in issue number 1, in order to get this park that he runs up and running and be successful. And I guess it had something to do with not only selling his soul, but also selling the souls of his potential children as well, or at least of his son. I'm not sure if it applies to his sister or not, because in this issue they're after Sam. Meanwhile, Sam is able to defeat the horde of creatures that's attacking him and overwhelming him, but his resistance to being taken by them causes them to go and seek out his daughter, and they intend to take and keep her instead. If he doesn't want to, if he's going to put up such a resistance to being taken, well, now they decided they're just going to take her instead. This was a quick read, but it was a very good read. It seemed very fast paced to me, but it was really good though. And Sam never really saw the supernatural things that were happening in the previous issues, and he never believed anybody who tried to tell him. But now it's straight up in his face, and he can't deny it. And I really like the revelation about his mother, and basically what it seems like is kind of his destiny, and sort of more information about the deal that his father seems to have made back in the day to guarantee his own success. So it's been a pretty crazy series so far, and the artwork's been very good and pretty gory, and the writing, really good, nice pace, and I really did enjoy this issue, and I'm very much looking forward to the next issue and seeing where we go from here. Alright, so I'm sure anybody that's watched my other New Comic Book Day haul videos can guess which book is going to be this one that I've saved for last. Saved the best for last. And that is, of course, Something Epic, issue number 5. Let's jump in, check out some of the artwork here. Let's get a little bit more. Alright, Soundwave, thank you. Alright, so now I chose the Korn album cover homage for this one, because I feel like it really does have some sort of meaning with regards to what's happening in this story. So it's going to be hard for me to keep this short, so I apologize for what's going to be probably a very long runtime on this, but I just love this series so much, and each issue is just such a treat to read. Maybe next time maybe I should try and do a video solely on these issues instead, to try and keep the runtimes down, but alright, I'm babbling here. Anyway, there has not been a bad issue so far in this series. Now, in this one, we're picking up at the end of the last issue, where Danny is onto the next stage of his challenge, and he's able to accomplish both of the remaining achievements in this one stage. When he started, he was tasked with completing 2 challenges for 3 items. And those items are the Shield of Faith and the Sword of the Spirit. And the third was kept from him. We didn't know what it was. He didn't know what it was. But we find out here that it's called the Heart of Mercy. And what's happening is that he is fighting one-on-one with a knight, a guy who's dressed up in knight armor, and he's losing. And he's about to get killed by this knight, but he ends up being provoked by Al, and uses his emotion to create a projection that allows him to defeat the knight. He ends up taking the Sword of the Spirit from the knight, who's defeated now and down on the ground at his mercy, but he refuses to kill him. Thus, he ends up displaying the Heart of Mercy. I just really loved the sequence. It worked so well, and the unknown item being mercy. You know, him just showing mercy, and this was a test of not only Danny's abilities, but more importantly, it was a test of his character, and it's just wonderful to read. It really was. He now is granted access to the kingdom of dreams and nightmares, and he must meet with Cyrus. That's right. That's what it was. Cyrus, who is the head of the island's council. And when Al and Danny encounter Cyrus, he ends up having doubts about Danny, and it's not so much about his abilities and his imagination, but it's about his ability to control his powers and his emotion. And that's because the previous epic, who made it this far and into this world, ended up wreaking havoc on the land, which took them decades to recover from. Now, eventually, the imperfect beings that are inhabiting part of this world end up visiting him and saying, you know, that he's their savior. It's kind of like, almost like when I was reading it, I was feeling like it was more almost like a Jesus Christ type of a moment. You know, they were kind of making him out to be like a Jesus Christ type of figure. You know, they were saying that he is their savior and he can help them, and they were begging him to help them become whole, because such as like one of the beings that's there, he has half a face and half a head, and he was just begging for help. The scene really, I mean, this is another scene in this series that really just tugs at your emotions and just so well written. He ends up being taken by Al to meet the source of imagination, creativity itself. There's basically the embodiment of imagination in this temple, and it's just a brief encounter that he has, and that brief encounter ends in a very strange way. And I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm trying to not get too crazy with all the details here, but it sets up the next issue and what's going to be happening. And the series is just so great. The artwork is truly amazing. It really just draws you in. You know, the artwork and the writing, as you sit there and read it, it just really draws you in. And I still think that Al is Danny's father, which is why he has such confidence in him and is willing to risk everything to get him to be, the epic, the best one ever and such, and like kind of the savior, basically. I'm curious to see down the road if I'm right about that. Anyway, this issue really, in my mind, my opinion, is kind of delving into like self-control and facing the darkness inside you. And I believe that's what is being set up here. The darkness that Danny encounters, he encounters it several times in this issue. This darkness that's teasing him is his inner darkness. It's his manifestation of his self-doubt, his inner anger and his pain. And being an epic, it really is just manifesting itself in a bid to control him, and he has to eventually come face to face with it and overcome that darkness that's inside him. Otherwise, it's going to consume him, and it could destroy that world that he's in right now. And that's how I feel like that the story is going towards right now. There's a lot more to be explored in this issue, particularly in the beginning. The opening narrative exposition. I've said it before that in years past I was never really a big fan of that sort of thing, but with this series, since I started reading the series from issue 1 all the way to here, it's actually been a wonderful read. It's been great to have that long exposition in the beginning of each issue. It really is great, and it really does set up what each issue is going to be about and what each issue is going to touch on. And in this one, they're touching on creativity itself. Again, I can't say enough great things about this series. It's just so wonderfully written, and I definitely highly recommend anybody that hasn't checked out this series to definitely do it. Again, this is my top series of the year so far. It really is. It's just a wonderful read. I mean, every time I read it, I love it. I just get so immersed in it, and you know, there's points where it does make you feel emotional and such, and it makes you think about these different things, about the imagination and creativity and the inner darkness and things like that. It's just a wonderful series. It really is. So this is my top recommendation, obviously, from this haul. Definitely, again, like I said, if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. Now, one little thing that I have to add in here, because I touched on it at the start of my little speech about something epic. It said I picked this cover for a reason to show on this one, and the reason that I did that is because of the way Danny is here. This is Danny right here, and he's pretty much kind of almost teetering here on the edge. He's at the edge of this cliff here, this little thing, and that's how I feel like he is in the story, just constantly kind of at the edge of falling into the abyss and being overtaken by that darkness that's inside of him. So that's why I picked this cover to show. All right, everybody, so that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. I apologize for the extremely long runtime, but when a new issue of something epic comes out, I can't stop talking about it. I love it so much. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that good old like button and subscribing to the channel. And everybody that's already subscribed to the channel, thanks very much. I really do appreciate all of your support and kindness. And if you feel like it, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of these recommendations. Let me know if you have any recommendations, or just say hi. Always love hearing from everybody. All right, so until next time, be safe, be well, and I'll catch you later.